In a sport that once told Claressa Shields she wasn't marketable, she just signed an $8 million deal. Today, her net worth is closing in on $12 million, and she's undefeated at 18-0. 2 Olympic gold medals. Undisputed across divisions. On paper, she's conquered it all, but when she steps into the ring, she fights like the world is trying to take everything away. She cruises through Detroit in a custom Rolls-Royce, a diamond chain flashing beneath arena lights as the crowd chants her name. Millionaire, champion, icon. And yet, when that bell rings, it's not the millionaire who steps forward. It's the girl from Flint. The girl who brings a brand of violence the world wasn't ready for. She doesn't just outbox you, she breaks you. So, before we dive into the empire Claressa built from nothing, smash the like button and subscribe. Born in 1995, Claressa's world was shaped by her father Bo's 7-year absence while he served time in prison. When Bo finally returned, he spoke of boxing legends like Laila Ali to inspire her, but he paradoxically told Claressa the ring was no place for a girl. At just 11 years old, she defied him. She walked into the gym and found a purpose stronger than her pain, working under the rigorous tutelage of Jason Crutchfield. Every amateur win was a brick removed from the wall Flint had built around her, transforming her trauma into a disciplined, explosive power that the amateur world was simply not prepared for. By the time she turned 16, she had already captured the National Police Athletic League Championship, proving that the T-Rex energy was more than just a nickname. It was a warning to the world that a new kind of dominance was coming. At 17, she had already claimed her first Olympic gold in London, outboxing seasoned veterans. By the time she turned pro in 2016, she had 2 Olympic golds and an astounding 77-1 amateur record. Proof that greatness was earned, not given. Her debut fight was a statement, a unanimous decision victory over French Crews-Dezurn. Months later, she made history again, headlining ShowBox, the first woman ever to do so on a U.S. premium network card, and winning the NAF middleweight title with a TKO over Silvia Zabatos. By her 6th fight, she was a 2-division world champion, bouncing back from her first professional knockdown to outpoint undefeated Tori Nelson and take the WBN title. On April 13, 2019, she faced Christina Hammer, a long-reigning champion who many thought would finally expose her. 10 rounds later, Shields emerged as the undisputed middleweight champion, holding all 4 major belts: WBA, WBC, IBF, WBO, and the Ring magazine strap. No woman had ever achieved undisputed status so quickly. In January 2020, she outclassed Ivana Habazin to become the fastest fighter in history to claim world titles in 3 divisions. Her only amateur loss came at the hands of Savannah Marshall, and redemption was inevitable. On October 15, 2022, Shields and Marshall clashed at London's O2 Arena in front of 20,000 roaring fans. Shields outlanded, out-hustled, and outboxed her opponent across 10 rounds. The unanimous decision wasn't just a win, it was reclamation. Her climb didn't stop. In 2023, she defended her titles against Maricela Cornejo, and by July 2024, she moved up to heavyweight. In one night, she dropped Vanessa LePage Jonas 3 times in 2 rounds, claiming the WBO light heavyweight title and WBF heavyweight title. In February 2025, she defeated Danielle Perkins for the undisputed heavyweight crown, becoming boxing's first ever 3-division undisputed champion. While others chase belts, she collects eras. But as the belts piled up, Claressa realized that legacy alone doesn't always pay the bills. She knew she had to take a gamble that most world champions would never touch. To secure her financial future, she stepped into the MMA cage with the PFL, learning an entirely new discipline under the scrutiny of the world. Critics called it reckless, but Claressa saw it as leverage. She used that cross-platform stardom to negotiate a historic, record-breaking partnership with Win Records and Salida Promotions, a multi-fight deal worth a guaranteed $8 million. This agreement included a massive $3 million signing bonus just for putting pen to paper, a millionaire maker moment she felt she had been denied since her amateur days. It guaranteed her at least $1 million per fight and established a new blueprint for athlete equity where she wasn't just a contractor, but a creative partner in the event she headlined. That gamble paved the way for the life she lives today. She recently traded the hardships of Flint for a massive, custom estate in Metro Detroit, a fortress of peace that symbolizes her ascent. Today, Claressa's garage tells the story of her entire life through its diverse fleet. For the rugged Michigan winters, she relies on her Chevrolet Silverado, a nod to her blue-collar roots. When she wants to match her fierce ring persona, she unleashes the Ford Mustang Shelby GT 500, pure American muscle. The crown jewel is the Lamborghini Aventador, a supercar that screams dominance and luxury. Yet, she famously holds on to her first car, a white Toyota Camry, keeping them parked as humble reminders of the early career grind and the practical beginnings that forged her spirit. Behind the jewelry and the roaring engines, Claressa Shields is a woman who has finally found balance outside the ring. Her relationship with rapper Papoose has become one of the most talked about unions in culture. It was cemented by a viral moment at her Undisputed title weigh-in when she revealed a Papoose tattoo just below her chest, a tribute she first showed him in private over a surprise FaceTime while visiting her hometown in Flint. Their bond has evolved into a strategic alliance. Papoose has been a key advisor in her entertainment ventures, while offering the emotional stability a champion needs. Claressa has publicly discussed their king and queen dynamic, noting that while she is a warrior in the ring, she embraces a softer, more reflective role at home because of the respect and protection he provides. They have been open about their shared dreams, including plans to start a family in late 2026. But even as a two-time Olympic gold medalist, Claressa found herself fighting a ghost more dangerous than any opponent: the gender pay gap. She publicly challenged promoters, asking why lesser accomplished male fighters were earning multiples of her purse while she was making history. She didn't wait for the world to crown her. She crowned herself, coining the term GWOAT, the greatest woman of all time. It wasn't just a nickname. It was an act of psychological warfare and branding brilliance, forcing a debate the sport couldn't ignore and demanding the financial respect that matched her unprecedented resume. The real shift, however, is in her business portfolio. Claressa has transitioned from a fighter for hire to a corporate executive. She launched T-Rex Promotions, where she now signs her former rivals, like heavyweight standout Danielle Perkins, to build a new stable of talent. Her deal with Win Records is an equity partnership, allowing her to own the platform as well as the performance. From her multimedia platform, Claressa Unleashed, to major deals with Puma and Bose, she is building a diversified engine, moving her closer to a $50 million net worth goal. Even as the money began to flow, her primary motivation remained the people she left behind in those Flint streets. Her first true moment of wealth realization didn't come from a luxury purchase for herself, but from a freezing winter day when she spotted her mother walking to a bus stop. At that moment, Claressa had $50,000 in her bank account, a fortune compared to where she started, and the sight of her mother struggling in the cold sparked an immediate shift. She bought her mother a car the very next day, only then allowing herself to buy her own first vehicle. As her purses grew into the millions, so did her generosity, though it came with a heavy emotional price. Shields has been remarkably open about the lonely at the top reality of her success, expressing frustration over how family dynamics shifted once she became the provider. She didn't just buy a house for her mother. She bought her 2 cars, a car for her father, and a vehicle for every single one of her siblings. She took on the bills for her parents and even took in her sister's 3 children, essentially becoming the economic engine for her entire lineage. Yet, she's admitted that this generosity often led to conflict, as expectations from those close to her began to outweigh the appreciation for the sacrifices she made in the ring. At 30 years old, she's already rewritten history and redefined what a female athlete can earn and command in the boardroom. She has forced the world to look at women's boxing not as a sideshow, but as a headline attraction capable of filling arenas and generating 8-figure contracts. The only question left is how much more does she want? Join our inner circle for early access to our documentaries by clicking the link in the description. What do you think? Has Claressa already cemented her place as the best to ever do it? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and stay hungry.